Okay, hello and welcome back to another warm-up rambling video. We have the Pro Marks Fashion Stick 1.0. We have the Papermate Inkjoy 100, 1M 1.0, and 4Candy's multicolor pen. You know, because we kept saying that this pen has a lot of bite to it, so when you draw you can feel the like ridges on the page, and you know, it's a little irritating. And also today is a little bit warmer. Like, it's not like, you know, not winter, but it's significantly warmer than it's been in a couple of days, like the warmest. And it rained last night, so we're sitting in water because there was a dry spot on the other side of the table, but not actually on the bench. And I tried to wipe it off with the napkins that I carry with me, but it just did not work out. So, you know, we got this pen with the bite, and my arm is like sitting in the water. My bag is sitting in the water. You know, everything is not going too well with this, but it rained last night or this morning or something. It's sunny now. So we tried out the bite pen, the pen with the bite to it, and now we're going with the Pro Marks. Let's see if this has any. Alright, so this pen just kind of glides. Like, you don't even feel that you're right, like you're going on paper. This is not a review video. This is just a experiment, you know, just a little experimente. This pen feels so much smoother compared to the other one. The other one just felt like so more like, again, like there's like, it's drawing over like tiny little teeth. That's what it felt like little saw tooths. And this is not bad. This is actually pretty good. Very smooth, steady line. It looks like it's drying relatively quick. What about this one? That's not a good test. I need like a marker or something to test it out. And obviously the Inkjoy is perfect because it's an old pen. This pen is old. This pen is older than some of the people watching this video. LMAO. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to see, you know, if I was going crazy or if it was just a pen. And sure enough, I am not going crazy. It is the pen. It is the pen, brother. You know, which is unfortunate because you would think that, you know, something that you get off Scamazon would be useful or good, but it's just like way too it like rips the paper, it like scratches the paper, kind of cuts the paper like in its nib, and that's not good. You know, that causes a great deal of pain and pandemonium in the ink world. But what do we have to say today? What do we have to say? So we are watching the 4400 still, and new developments. You know, again, spoiler warning. You do not want to know what happens in the 4400 or episodes of the original Twilight Zone. Get lost, because I'm about to give my thoughts on what I've been seeing so far. So you have, you know, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Alright, now for those still here with me, the 4400, the woman that came back to the past who was pregnant, her baby is now an adult, and she died of old age. She like got super old really quick, and the baby grew up really fast, and it kind of upset me, honestly. Like, what's the most annoying part is, like, if you watched the 4400, if you know anything about it, so catch me here, right? Catch me here. You're watching the 4400, and you're seeing what the baby can do, right? The baby is like the strongest one, it seems like, because she can just do things that are not normal. You know what I mean? Like, she can do whatever she wants. essentially, she's like a reality bender, and she becomes, essentially an adult, and she's not good, and she's just like completely stupid. But as a baby, you would think that a lot of stuff that she was doing was like as a bargaining of sentientness, like of her being sentient. And of course, apparently that's not the case. She has not been doing things sentiently according to what she started doing as a as an adult, as a human being. It's very weird how they did that. It's like, oh yeah, she does all these things, and she's in control of all these things, and then we get to see her, you know, be herself, and it's nothing. Like she's literally like a dope, and that makes no sense. It's like, yeah, it made it seem like she was like this like enemy that was like hidden, like this hidden enemy that we just didn't know about yet. And then we observe her being just like naive and stupid and saying a bunch of dumb stuff and doing a bunch of dumb things. I won't really get into too much of it, but a few of the things was like, one of them was trying to swim, right? And then the other one, like, it's just like she just walks around acting like obviously like a facsimile of a human being or something. Like she walks around acting like a fake human, and that really bothers me. And the reason, because it's just like not cool. Like y'all made it seem like she was like this you know entity that we had to be worried about, and that she was like in control of all the stuff, and she was able to think for herself and do all these things that she wanted done. She could pass on visions to people because she didn't want to be somewhere or do something. And then now we have her out and about, and she's just like acting like it's her first day being alive. It's like, bro, this doesn't mesh with what you presented to us at the beginning, at least to me. There's probably some fans out there that's like, well, you just don't understand, you didn't read the graphic novel, if there even is a graphic novel. But they're like, you just didn't read the graphic novel, so you just don't understand it. It's like, yeah, whatever. If I gotta read the graphic novel to understand it, I don't want it. I don't want to know about it then. It's just kind of stupid. And I just don't like the direction that it's going in. Plus side, we've been watching the Twilight Zone, and we're on I think like season 4 maybe of the Twilight Zone, where they started doing like the hour-long episodes. And I will say that these hour-long episodes are a lot more exhausting to watch, because they suffer, in my opinion, they suffer from the same problem that Black Mirror suffers from, where they don't know how to fill an hour up with like entertaining information, and they're trying to be a feature film or like a late night movie for like, oh, you tuned in late at night and you want to watch something, and they want to keep you hooked on the channel. Here it is, the Twilight Zone episode, season whatever. They got a bunch of different themes for each of these episodes, and some of them don't even feel like Twilight Zone episodes, in my opinion. They feel like just late night movies with the Twilight Zone name stuck on top of them, and I don't like that. I really am against that. The In His Own Image, that was an interesting episode, but it took so long to get to the point of the plot that it was just not even like, the reveal wasn't even worth it, and the results were not even that good, honestly. I think one of these things that some of these anthology shows have is that they can't facilitate an hour runtime, because their ideas are just not substantial. And do I extend that to the 90s Outer Limits? No. I think that 90s Outer Limits, most of the episodes do a relatively good job wasting the time of the viewer with the hour-long run. And I think that Tales from the Dark Side also does a good job wasting the viewer's time with the hour. I wouldn't say Tales from the Crypt does, but my thought process on some of this stuff is their nudity, because nudity adds a level of intrigue to an otherwise boring episode, because of just the general like nature of television is that there is no real like nudity, so just a little bit makes it a little bit more intriguing, because it's like, well, why did they do that? And then you're just like, well, whoa. And it's Tales from the Crypt uses it to push along the story. Tales from the Dark Side uses it to push along the story. The Outer Limits uses it to push along the story. Um, what was the one? The Tales of Perversion or something like that, or Perversions of Science. Uh, it's hard to believe that that show, like, people didn't like that show. I think that Perversion of Science was pretty good, regardless of you know, nudity or not. I think that they did a good job with the show, and I think that each episode was good, and it didn't really even like factor into like too much of the perverted nature. I think that they did very useful things with the stories that they were trying to tell, and it was all like really interesting. Like every episode that I've seen of Perversion of Science, if I'm not mistaken, is interesting. Can I recount all of them to you? No, but I can recount one, uh, and it's the one with the grandmother, where they brought like the nanny bots, and they kind of like started fighting at night, like they had like a fight club. That one is really good. I loved that episode. um that's the main one that I love, but there's a few other ones that are good. I feel like they're all like serviceable, they're like watchable, and it's not too bad. I wish there were more, but obviously people wasn't driving with the show apparently, so it got canceled, I guess, and that sucks because I really liked that show. I thought it was pretty good, and I love the Outer Limits, the 90s version. I never really watched the OG one, so I'm gonna have to watch it after the Twilight Zone to get more acquainted with it. Um, and I love Tales from the Dark Side. I think that Tales from the Dark Side is you know, 10 out of 10, because Tales from the Dark Side fills up the hour very very well. They waste your time very well. They waste your time so much, or the time limit that they have allotted. They waste it so well, and they create like a world for you to be afraid, you know, may exist, versus like the other entities that do whatever it is that they do. You know, Twilight Zone is best in bursts. The 30-minute timer was their saving grace, and these longer hour-long episodes are not very interesting. They take too long to get to the point, and by the time they get to the point, is like, well, what am I even watching? More recently, we did see the Puppet episode, and the episode with Carol Burnett. That episode was pretty cool. The Puppet episode was pretty cool. The episode with the sun being out infinitely, that one was pretty good. We know all of those episodes though. I'm trying to think of the one that I don't really know, that I paid a little bit more attention to, and I feel like the Carol Burnett one I don't really know I paid attention to. The one with the dummy, the ventriloquist one, that one I pretty much know very well, and it's very strange because again, a lot of these episodes you think like this is like season 1 of the Twilight Zone, and in reality it's not. It's like season like 3 or 4 or something, and you know, that's a bit crazy. I also have seen Ray Bradbury Theater or whatever. I didn't really like that show. I thought it was kind of like thought it was kind of cheesy, but some of the ideas are cool. Like I will watch an anthology show even if I don't really like necessarily enjoy it too much, except for Black Mirror. I don't really like Black Mirror at all. I very much disagree with Black Mirror, and I find Black Mirror to be probably like one of the worst anthology shows ever made, and I stand by that till this day. And the main reason why is just because like Black Mirror has the opportunity every time to have a good and nice and cohesive story, and they have a great premise every single time. They have a great premise, and then they go and botch it because it feels like they have too much time, so they don't know how to tell the story. And then by the time it gets to the end of the episode, you're like, well, what happened? For instance, Striking Vipers, the one episode with the girl with the iPad in her head or whatever, the episode where they was on the game show, the other episode with the freaking, with Selma Hayek in the screaming thing, or the one werewolf episode, the one with the, like, there's just so many where it's just like, oh, this is like a good premise, and then they just go and squander it every single time. It's never not happened in Black Mirror, and it blows my mind because there's so many clowns out there who, you know, I shouldn't even say that. I shouldn't even say clowns because people have different tastes, but people's tastes sometimes are just so bad. It's like, why do you why do you enjoy this thing that is obviously like disrespecting your intelligence? Because they literally have like, unless you just like to see like pretty colors, like I guess it's just you like to see pretty colors flashing on the screen is all I can think of. Because that's the only way that you can enjoy some of those things. It's like I turn my brain off and I just want something on the screen so I don't feel alone, and noises so I don't feel alone. You know, that's the main thing that I get when I see a Black Mirror episode, is that it's just like pretty colors flashing on the screen so you don't feel alone. There's no like genuine desire to watch that, because it's just like, well, what am I even observing? You know, it's just Black Mirror, and it's actually not very good. And there are better things to watch. There are better shows to invest time into. But you know, we went a different route this way for the warm up today, and I think that I'm satisfied a little bit with the warm up, and we are gonna get into the next part of this creative process. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Hopefully you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Here is your full overview, and goodbye.